Okay, hello and welcome. This is Dungeon World Songs of the Golden Onion, session 1 of 5. I want to begin by having each of the players introduce themselves and just as players. And if you could please let us know your pronouns, that would be fabulous. Ellen?
Ellen, she, her. I'm in
Awesome.
Australia.
Awesome, thank you. We couldn't tell by your accent, so it was total threw me for a loop there for a minute. JD?
I'm JD. I'm he, him.
Thank you. Noella?
I'm Noella. I'm they, them.
Robert?
Yeah, Robert, he, him.
And Sabine?
I'm Sabine, and any pronoun is fine.
Fabulous. And I am Jason. He, him works fine for me. So I want to begin with cats. That's the sort of procedure that kind of sets forward some expectations about the game. It stands for concept, aim, tone, and subject matter. So I'm just going to go through that straight away. The concept of Dungeon World, I have a hard time believing no one here knows what Dungeon World is, but Dungeon World is a Powered by the Apocalypse game that basically does the genre of Dungeons and Dragons. It does it pretty well. I'm very fond of it. And Songs of the Golden Onion, this particular adventure, the bulk of it is going to take place in this enormous labyrinth-like inn and pub called the Golden Onion. It's a very mysterious place, and part of what we're going to be doing in this series is kind of figuring out, like, what's the story of the Golden Onion, right? Our aim for today, first we're going to introduce characters. Everyone has already made characters, so we're going to introduce them. And after the characters are introduced, I have a little in medias res scene that I'd like to start with. It's going to be kind of an extended scene. We'll probably take up most of the session. This scene is basically going to be all of your characters essentially in the final room of a dungeon. Like you've gone through the dungeon and you're in the final like boss lair basically, and we're going to play that out, just give your characters a chance to see what they, kind of how they work, learn the rules of the game and all that kind of stuff. And then from there, we'll kind of continue with the main Golden Onion stories as long as we can until the session's over. The tone of the game is, this is going to be a fairly lighthearted, high fantasy tone. It will have moments of darkness and satire and that kind of thing, but for the most part, it's going to be like very high fantasy. Lots of magic items, lots of monsters, that kind of stuff. Very, very D&D. Okay. In terms of subject matter, I don't anticipate anything particularly gnarly happening in terms of subject matter. I don't foresee that. In any case, I will just let you all know that the X card's in play. So if something happens that you find to be just disagreeable to you, or it makes you uncomfortable in an unfun way, you can click the X card button on the Roll for Your Party room, or type it in the chat, or just say it on the call, and we will stop and we'll adjust whatever just happened. I may ask you what is being X-carded just for clarification, but I will not ask you why is it being X-carded. So does anyone have any questions about the cats before we begin? Splendid. So let's go ahead and do character introductions. I'm going to go in the order of the sheet, and that is you, Ellen. Please tell us about Lomond Teleki.
Lomond Teleki, he's comes from a family that's probably a bit well-to-do. I think he's a young man who got quite bored, and he's run away pretending to his family that he's trying to recover a stolen rapier, the family heirloom, but instead he's the one who stole the rapier and is gallivanting around the world. So evil alignment, but he's not evil, but he's a bit shifty. Shifts danger or blame from themselves to someone other. He's a halfling. He wears his family's raiment on a vest, but he also has this awesome cloak that is nice and dark and shadowy that he hoiks over that so no one can see him. And yes, he's a thief, if anyone hasn't picked that up.
Outstanding. Thank you so much. We're going to talk about flags a little bit later, but everyone will have flags. This is for viewers of the video. Everyone has flags instead of bonds. We're going to discuss that at a later time. But for now, I would just invite everyone to, on a break or something, just read everyone's flags, so you kind of have an idea of what they are. And if anyone has any questions during character introductions, just pipe up and say so. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and move on to Noella. Please tell us about Siobhan.
So Siobhan is a druid from the far north. They have like blue and white clothes that sort of look like snow, and half of their face looks frostbitten. It's very, it looks pretty ugly. Yeah, they're kind of like very quiet and mysterious character. They can call on animals of the tundra and the Arctic.
And indeed turn into animals of the tundra and the Arctic. Right? Yeah. It's fantastic. I always love a druid. We'll see how what kinds of crazy animal transformations you get into. JD, please tell us about Bronca.
Bronca is from a region that's mostly like plains, but then her religion that she is a part of worships these mountains that stick out. Kind of think Grand Tetons that just kind of post up out of nowhere. She's part of like a heretical sect of this cult that believes that the mountains are always moving rather than static. And so the holy symbol that she carries is what she thinks is like evidence of this, which is a nautilus fossil that was found in their sacred caves up on the top of the mountain. And so as part of this like sect, she's basically out questing, looking for evidence to prove that her sex theories are correct, and that the earth god that they worship, Erun, is always in motion.
I love it. That's fantastic. I do have a question about the quests, the specific, that's a very particular and important mechanic to the Paladin. I always give players the option of, you can define your quests more precisely or specifically once you have an idea like what we're going to be doing.
Yeah. I didn't mean, that's a very broad thing. I didn't mean to trigger the move there. So
no, that's totally fine. But I always tell Paladin players this. So like basically we're going to have this opening scene. Once I give you the kind of breakdown of what that scene is about, you can straight away make a quest right then. And then once we kind of get going to the Golden Onion, you'll have an opportunity to kind of define it again if you wish. Thank you for that. That was great. Robert, please tell us about Bowen, the wizard.
Okay, Bowen is an elven wizard. Elves kind of, well, at least his group of elves sort of live in these giant, basically wizard towers. There might be dozens and dozens of families that live in one single wizard tower. And basically when they become of age, they're sent out to explore the world, gather knowledge, and form their own towers. So he has just recently became of age and is now being sent out to, do his thing and mingle amongst the other people of the world, and hopefully one day form his own tower.
Fabulous. I love it. That's a great premise. Thank you. And finally, Sabine, please tell us about, oh goodness, Achaeus, I guess?
Achaeus, I guess. Yeah, I guess too. So Achaeus is a fighter. She has been fighting for most of her life. She was raised by mercenaries. Those were her parents, and she grew up with a mercenary troop. Really, they were disbanded a while ago because of some stuff that happened in a far away land, and now she's drifting around and looking for a new engagement. She will fight for anybody who pays her, and yeah, that's Achaeus. She's not very subtle, and she's not very social either.
I would love to know about your signature weapon. What is that?
That my signature weapon is a spear. It's with a serrated edge. It's pretty large. She is very good at using this, both at close range or throwing it or getting it extended and waving it around. And the spear always looks bloodstained, but it's not actually because she cleans it very well, but these stain things, they are from some monster thing that they won't wash off.
I love it. You are all suitably badass, and I'm very into it. Let's talk about what's going on right now. So, for some time, you have all been together, plundering catacombs and dungeons and oubliettes and other dark underground places. And you have gotten pretty good at it. You have a reputation of being very, very seasoned dungeon crawlers, right? And you are presently at the end of a particularly important delve. So I'm going to direct your attention to the image board in the folder. It says Songs of the Golden Onion Images. Give you guys a second to get in there. If you all take a look at the upper left corner of the image board, you will see what appears to be a large stone side or hillside entrance to some sort of temple or mausoleum. And indeed, this is a large crypt or mausoleum dedicated to a queen of the ancient world, a queen from the beginning of all things. Her name is Old Queen Rianne. I'll type that in the chat. And this crypt holds the body of Old Queen Rianne, as well as various members of her court from this ancient time. And you have been exploring it for some time, trying to get to the heart of it, where you believe you will find the sarcophagus that holds the body of Old Queen Rianne. And inside the sarcophagus, buried with her, is her Alderwood crown. So the Alderwood crown of Old Queen Rianne is kind of the object of your exploration right now. You believe it's there. And indeed, if you look at the second image going down the line there, that is the heart of the temple. You are there, or this crypt, I should say. And it has been a fairly uneventful delve. You know, a few skeletons, zombies, you know, slimes, that kind of thing, right? Pretty straightforward stuff. But this particular part of the dungeon is guarded by Old Queen Rianne's, her 3 sons, who are now, at present, undead minotaurs. They used to be vivacious minotaurs, but now they are undead minotaurs. You can see one of them there in the image board. The names of these minotaurs, you have all researched this before you got here. Keldor, Beldrin, and Dardrin. And you see the 3 of them. They are there guarding the sarcophagus. And at the outset, I want to just ask each of you, you all have the advantage here. I want to ask each of you, like, kind of where you're at in this space, like how you're kind of preparing for this fight with the 3 sons of Old Queen Rianne. Each of these minotaurs has one has an axe, and the other 2 have like large, heavy, like warhammers, right? And you can see their, just like the picture, you can see like their jawbones and their rib cages and bits of desiccated guts kind of hanging out. And they still kind of like instinctively like kind of snort and stomp their feet. But as they snort, like little bits of like blood and bone like kind of like spray out. And so that's where we're at. I'm going to go around the table, find out what everyone's idea is for how they're going to start this, and then I will then start spotlighting you all to make moves and stuff. So let's just kick off with Bronca. What will you be doing?
I think it's a little too loud in here to meditate the way that I would normally like to do so. So I think I like Bronca's gonna shove her shield down in the earth and like stick it up and kind of kneel behind it and grab some of this, some of the dirt that is like collected on the ground over the centuries, and kind of let it trickle out from her hand as she tries to focus on each grain as it falls and is trying to focus for this fight that's coming up ahead. Yeah.
Interesting. Are you trying to trigger a particular move there, or is this just some color?
This is just color. I don't think I want to necessarily go for my quest right now because I'm not going to activate the quest to just slay these 3 Minotaurs.
Yeah, I'm in there. Yeah.
So yeah.
I love it. Thank you. Let's see. It's going to take me a minute to get all your names, so I might be a little slow there. Lomand, what are you doing?
Oh yeah. Lomand is hanging around in some shadows. He doesn't really want to engage. He just wants to assess like his surroundings, like maybe pal up against his comrades and get a feel for what they want to do, because I don't think Lomand is the kind of person to run into battle.
Right in the middle of battle. Hiding in the shadows. I might give you discern realities. We'll come back to it in a minute though. Let's go to Siobhan. What are you doing?
I'm going to turn into a moose.
Nice. Good. Love it. You can go ahead and do that roll. Plus wisdom. Or whatever. I think it's wisdom. We'll come back to you in a moment. And Bowen, what are you going to be doing?
I think I would probably... I don't know if I would want to cast it now or if I'd already have it up, but probably want to detect magic and see if there's anything that just kind of stands out as magical that I wouldn't expect.
You can roll that as well. And what about our fighter, Arceus?
Well, I'm looking around, and these columns, are they stable, or could I just push one of them over just so the ceiling falls onto those minotaurs?
I like that. That's very good. So here's what we're going to do. I think I'm going to let Arceus, why don't you roll discern realities? If you need an aid roll from the thief, I will let you take it, or I'll let the thief take that roll. And because since you're both kind of like scoping things out, we've got rolls on the table for the druid and the wizard. We'll come back to those. And Bronca is being a badass, meditating, getting ready to fight. I said.
Can I interrupt and like stand up, pick up my shield, and just go for a defend? I'm gonna play defense on this.
Yeah, stand in defense. Absolutely, you can roll that too. Yeah, go for it. Absolutely. So let's talk about this detect magic. How'd that go?
Not very good. Roll of 5.
Good. Okay, we're about to find out what's magical. And how did your transformation to a moose go?
I got a 12.
Oh, nice. Good. Read that move to us real quickly.
When you call upon the spirits to change your shape, roll plus wisdom. On a 10 plus, hold 3. On a 7 to 9, hold 2. On a miss, hold 1 in addition to whatever the GM says. You may take on the physical form of any species whose essence you have studied or who lives in your land. You and your possessions meld into a perfect copy of the species form. You have any innate abilities and weaknesses of the form: claws, wings, gills, breathing water instead of air. You still use your normal stats, but some moves may be harder to trigger. A house cat will find it hard to do battle with an ogre. The GM will also tell you one or more moves associated with your new form. Spend 1 hold to make that move. Once you're out of hold, you return to your natural form. At any time, you may spend all your hold and revert to your natural form.
Awesome. You're going to want to keep separate track of all your animal moves so that you have that. You're going to want to put that somewhere on your sheet so you have it handy. But I'm going to go ahead and say that the move that you have for the moose is, we're going to call it charge. So you can charge in as a moose. All right. So how did discern realities go?
I have no idea. I have to roll it. Sorry.
That's okay. Plus wisdom.
Okay. got my name here. No. Plus wisdom, I don't have. Oh, wow, that didn't go too well. I've got a 4. So I guess no columns to throw over, and I get an XP, right?
You do indeed. Yeah, you also get an XP, Bowen. All right. So the table is set. Everything is kind of set, and I think we're going to start with this this flubbed detect magic. I think what happens is so Bowen, you go to cast a spell, and you cast a spell, and I think you actually find out straight away what's magical. I'm going to give you that. Each of the Minotaurs possesses some kind of magical object. You don't know which one is Keldor, which one's Feldrin, which one's Dardrin, but one of them, the one carrying the axe is definitely magical. The other one is wearing like it looks like a corset, actually. It's a corset kind of holding in his guts and ribs, and it appears to be magical. And the other one has something in his hand vicinity. You don't know quite what it is. You're casting the spell, and I think that you get so excited about, like, whoa, look at all this. Like, this is way more than we thought we were going to get, right? This is really, if we can take these guys out, right? You're getting excited. And I think you just, like, you say something audible that, like, lets the Minotaurs know you're there. And so they're instantly, like, honed in on your position. One of the Minotaurs, the one with the axe, he, like, slams the axe down. He strikes the axe blade against a pillar, right? He, like, strikes it against a pillar, and and as he strikes it, he's striking it a couple times. Every time he strikes it, there's like a burst of lightning, like he's building up. You see this like lightning crackling as he snaps the axe across the thing, and they're just kind of like looking at you and snorting. And the other one turns, the one who has like something magical in his hand. He turns, and you see he kind of opens his kind of like 3-toed fist, and you see a little like swirling ball of fire. Okay. And then the third Minotaur, he just rushes your position with his big warhammer. So suddenly the situation is much more hot than you probably had hoped. Luckily, Bronca is standing in defense, so that's good. Yeah. And I think I'm just taking this whole like big power move by the Minotaurs to equal both of the misses on the table. Okay. Like basically you're just all getting attacked in a nasty way. So the only person who like, I think like continues to have something of an element of surprise here is our halfling thief. Lomond, you're closest to the Minotaur who is like striking his axe against the rock, building up this like electricity. What do you do?
I aim one of my throwing knives for his eyes.
Nice. The eye that's not hanging out of the socket, I assume?
Well, yeah, clearly.
Good. Roll volley, please. It's plus dexterity.
Oh yeah, so that's D8, right?
You're going to roll dexterity, so just 2d6 plus dexterity.
Yeah. Sorry, it's been a while.
Yeah, no worries.
Ooh, boxcars.
Oh, nice. And then go ahead and just roll your damage, and I think you get a bonus because you're a halfling, right?
Yes, I do. Oh yeah, with my ranged weapons. Good point.
I think thieves do D8, if I'm not mistaken. So it'd be D8 plus 2.
Oh yes. So I got an 8. Rolled an 8. And yeah, whatever that is. Plus 2, so 10.
Nice. It's a great hit. I mean, it's a really, really strong hit. Doesn't take him out, but definitely causes him to drop his axe. Why don't you just describe what it looks like for me?
Okay, so you have Lamand like sneaking around in the shadows. his back's up against a pillar. He slides out this small glinting dagger and like quickly thump, and it go as it's going toward his eye, it actually severs the last tendril from his hanging eye, and it just like gets right in there and
burrows deep in the brain.
burrows deep in the brain. And you just hear this almighty like roar and this big loud thud as the warhammer just falls to the ground.
Yeah, it's an axe, and yeah, he drops it, and it just drops like, and whatever magic he was building up, just sort of like in a sort of blue, kind of ether, just kind of burns away, right? So you're all good to go there. So the one that's got the little like ball of fire, he just like slings it, throws it like a baseball, and there is now a little like ball of fire like going in your general direction, which is basically everyone but Lomand, I think. So this little ball of fire is just like flying right at you. It's not very big. It's like the size of a tennis ball or something, right? It's flying right at you. Do you want to spend one of those hold, Bronca, or?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely rush forward, right, and just try to catch it right on my shield.
Nice, good.
You want me to redirect for that spend?
Yeah, how many hold do you have on it right now?
I rocked an 11, so I got 3.
Oh, nice, good. Yeah, you can definitely redirect for sure, and which means you will just be in danger.
I'll take that redirect, and I'll have it as well.
Good, yeah. It does a 2d6, so roll 2d6 and half it. Oh wait, you're muted.
So I rolled an 11, but then have that, so that's a 6.
Yep, indeed it is. That's not too bad though, all things said. Do you want to describe it though? Like, I'd just like to see what that looks like.
Yeah,
it explodes is when it hits you, basically.
It's a big like blue fireball.
Red, but yeah, sure.
Red. All right, cool. Yeah, I think I charge forward and like duck down behind my shield and kneel down behind it and just catch it and have to brace my shield forward, and I'd probably slip back a couple feet as it like hits and expends all of its energy and kind of like radiates out in a big like anime style like ball of energy, around everybody else.
Nice. Fantastic. And Siobhan, you see, I mean, there's a Minotaur charging Bowen. I mean, it's just like snorting, spraying guts out of its nose as it snorts, and just like running like with its horns down. What do you do, great big moose?
I'm gonna charge the Minotaur charging at Bowen.
Yeah, by spending the hold, you can charge in and basically like completely stop his charge. So just describe what that looks like.
Yeah, so I think the Minotaur is charging towards Bowen, and then you see it coming in, and then you see me, the huge moose, like coming from the side and like knock him over.
Nice, good. Well, in that case, I'm going to go ahead and go over to Chaos. Chaos, what do you do right now? The Minotaur's initial attack is kind of stymied.
There is one right there. There was the one with the fireball and the one charging, and then there's the guy our halfling just threw a dagger at.
Right. Yeah.
But
they're all still alive, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So the guy with the fireball, I think, has the least problems. So I guess I go and make some for him. I'll go and try to hit him.
Nice. And with the reach of your spear, you can like quickly engage him. So go ahead, just give me a hack and slash roll.
Yeah, hack and slash. I like that. Wow, this girl can't roll anything, so I get another XP, and I've rolled snake eyes.
I'll take the fiction. You rush in to try to like stab him. Like you got your spear. You couldn't do that cool like thrust thing, right? Maybe even like in your mind, you're gonna try to echo. Lomond's move by stabbing in the eyeball, right? And you go for it. It gets caught up in the Minotaur's. I think it I think like the spear hits the Minotaur's exposed jawbone because there's no flesh there, and just gets like caught, and the Minotaur like whips his head, causes the spear to go like flying off behind the group, and then he puts his head down and charges forward. Well, I'm going to cut over to Bowen, who in part invited all this wrath. Bowen, what do you do?
I'm going to cast a magic missile on the one that just got basically knocked out of the way by the moose.
Yeah, good. I like that. And you've got, thanks to your friends, you have plenty of space to cast your spell. So go ahead and roll magic missile or roll cast a spell.
It's a 9.
Nice. Make your choice and then roll your damage.
I will go ahead and say that I draw unwelcome attention or put myself in a spot.
Oh yeah, I'm into that. I think like yeah, I mean, I think that the Minotaurs will kind of refocus on you. They will consider you to be like the most dangerous person. Go ahead and roll your damage on that.
It's 2 damage.
Okay. What does it look like? Do your magic missiles have like a particular aesthetic or flair?
I think they're extremely bright. Like it almost kind of hurts. Like it's like if you imagine, like a welding torch or something. Like don't look directly at them, but they just go super fast. And as long as you don't look directly at them, you're okay.
Nice. And they fly out and they kind of crackle against the Minotaur, and that happens, and that's awesome. All right. In that case, I think I'm going to cut back over to Lomond. So Lomond, I mean, this Minotaur that you got in the eye, I mean, like he lets out that roar. It's kind of a slushy sounding roar, if I'm being honest, because of his, loose guts and meat bits. And he lets out this roar, and he's like clearly like in pain. Like he's actually not grabbing the axe or anything. He's pretty vulnerable right now. What do you do?
I run up, pick up his axe, and swipe at his legs. Nice. In theory.
Yeah, that's good. Do a hack and slash. Yeah.
Ooh, yes. And I hacked and I slashed. I rolled an 11.
Nice. As long as you do 2 points of damage, you'll kill him. So go ahead and roll your d8.
Yeah.
Destroy him, I should say. He's already dead.
Okay, so I just clip one of his legs, and
you get a 1.
And so he's on a knee, one knee, half of his legs other dangling, and is probably still
nice. Okay, good. Awesome.
Mushily roaring.
I love it. Let's cut back over to Bronca. Bronca, what do you do now that you've kind of absorbed that fireball?
Well, I'm gonna try to take out this spellcasting Minotaur, I guess. So I'll probably charge forward, and I'm just gonna do I'm gonna spend this last hold and just like smash it in the face a little bit. Get my 1 point of damage in there.
Nice. I'll take that plus a roll if you want. Yeah, if you want to hack and slash.
Yeah, cool. That is an 11.
Nice. Do you want to take his hit to roll an extra d6 as well?
I don't think so, given that it's 2d6 and I appear to be rolling high. So.
Oh, well, that was just the fireball. They still do a lot of damage, but yeah.
All right. No, I think I'm playing cautiously since there's still a lot going on.
Yeah, go ahead and roll your damage.
That is 4 damage that's including my +1 from the sword.
Okay, nice. And he already took some from somebody, right? Didn't he already take like?
I don't think this one has taken any damage.
No, it's
yet.
not. Okay, cool.
Oh, was the magic missile to this one?
No, the magic was to the charging one. Yeah.
Okay, right.
Go ahead and just describe what you're. Oh, you've already kind of described it, but if you want to like add any other color to that, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's just a quick like jolt up, and then it's followed immediately by a thrust of my longsword. But it doesn't catch that much. It might just be some ribs, which aren't really important when you're already dead.
Indeed. Bronca, or not Bronca. Sorry, Siobhan. Siobhan, you are now horn locked with the Minotaur. Ready, you can do battle with it now. So what do you do?
I guess I can do like hack and slash to like kick it.
Nice. You're gonna use your hooves to stomp him. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, go ahead and roll hack and slash.
Got a 6. I can't hear you.
The Minotaur, you go for it. The Minotaur basically like, I think the Minotaur like grabs you by the horn, pulls you down. It's very strong. This is that strong one, right? Or the one that's charging, right? The one with the girdle, the one wearing a corset. He slams you down like with strength you do not expect. Like he throws you down like a rag doll. So just imagine this moose being quickly dropped to the ground, and then he just comes in with the other hand with the warhammer and just like slams it up against your neck. You take a D10 plus 2.
Oh no.
And mark an experience point as well. What was the damage on that?
8.
Tough hit. Meanwhile, Achaeus, you have a Minotaur rushing you and you have no weapon, or at least you don't have your spear. What do you do?
Yeah, but Branka rushed that Minotaur that was rushing me and injured it. So I guess that's not a problem anymore, right? Or is it?
Branka was going after the fireable one. Yep. Yeah. So I guess I guess Branka engaged with it. And nevertheless, what do you do? So.
Oh yeah, sure. So my spear is over somewhere, and there's this Minotaur. Do I have a dagger?
I don't know. I mean, check your gear.
It's not in my gear, but I would have bought some a dagger.
I mean, we kind of pick up the characters like. Maybe you had a dagger and it's like, you lost it or whatever, right?
Oh, okay.
This is at the end. This is at the end of the adventure.
Okay. So I guess I'm just, you know what? This guy's jaw is pretty loose and I've got scale armor. So I've got some gauntlets on my hands and I'll just hit it. Come on.
I like just tear it apart, right? Like rip
yeah, I mean, come on.
I'll take that as hack and slash. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Maybe this time it's gonna be better. Yes, I've got an 11 plus my strength bonus. It's just a 13.
Nice. Do you want to take its hit to roll an extra d6 of damage?
Sure.
Awesome. So you're gonna roll your damage, which I think is a d10 plus a d6.
Okay. A d10. One of them. That's not a d10. Sorry. I've got to find a d10. Oh, wow. You know what? I'll roll this one. And I don't think... Come on. I'm sorry. I'm trying to re-roll this one. Okay. So I'm a human, so I have the power to re-roll any one of my rolls, and I think I want to re-roll this d10. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. If that's how it works.
That's yep. Oh wow, that was pretty useful because now I've got 14 damage.
You destroy the Minotaur. Go ahead and describe it.
Okay, so what happens is that Achaeus, she was a bit off her footing with the whole when the spear flew away, but then Branka intervened and stopped the Minotaur's charge, and that's when Achaeus thought, oh, come on. She reaches up, the Minotaur is taller than her, and she has this gauntlet, and she just punches right through this rotting jawbone into the brain, and just kind of drags the head off of this Minotaur thing, like,
I love it. It's great. Bowen, there's a problem. The downed moose, the Minotaur has stepped on the moose's neck, is now using both hands to grab the moose's horns and is going to use the leverage of stepping on the moose's neck and the horns to pull the moose's head off. What do you do?
Well, that's bad. I don't think just a plain old magic missile is going to cut it on this.
You may need to do some. You may need to take a desperate action to get the moose's attention or something, right?
Yeah.
I will note, though, that you have invited special attention on yourself, and I think this special attention, it's just going to be mostly the moose or the minotaur kind of just being a dick. Like, as he's doing this, the moose like looks you in the eye, like he wants you to see him rip off the moose's head. He's not even looking at the moose. He's just like staring you down with like, if he had muscle tendon in his mouth, he'd be smiling, but of course he doesn't.
Everybody else is doing so good that I'm pumped up, and I'm getting cocky, and he wants it, so I'm just gonna run in and try to just smack him right in the face with my staff.
Good. I think as soon as you run in, he drops the moose. That's what he wanted, and he just wanted to get his hands on you. And roll hack and slash.
Let's see. That is hack and slash strength, I assume.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a 6.
That's a 6. You rush in. You with your staff. He takes your staff. He takes it and just like he splinters it just like in his hands and tosses it to the side. Grabs you and squeezes and crushes your windpipe and lifts you up. You take a D10 plus 2. And mark an experience as well if you didn't mark an experience before.
Yeah, it's 8 damage. So
okay. And you are being choked out quite violently by the Minotaur. Bronco, you're handy. You're nearby. What do you do when you see this happening?
Yeah, I'm immediately just gonna try to. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to cut out the legs from under this Minotaur, and hopefully that will free our wizard.
I don't need to roll. I'm gonna let you just roll your damage. But if you don't take out the Minotaur with your damage that you roll, I'm going to hurt Bowen again.
I'm sorry, Bowen. 5.
5? Yeah, that's not good enough. You go in. Describe your hit. You're not going to take him out though. So just describe your hit.
I think I'm going to try to cut out from under it, and maybe it gets like I was expecting its tendons to just be nothing at this point, and one of them catches, like the sword catches on it, and just gets stuck in one of the legs.
The moose the Minotaur just like has you, Bowen, like you are like this close, like very, very close to its like nose, and it lets out a snort, and some of its like nose guts get right in your mouth, like right here, and behind your tongue and your lip. And you take another D10 plus 2, please.
Oh, this one's only 6.
What are you down to now? 5. That's a tough house wizard. How many points do you have?
I put 15.
You took a high con. Yeah, that's smart. All right. So, okay, Lomond. This Minotaur is barely hanging on. It's almost a comedy at this point. So what do you do?
It's pretty tempting just to like slap it, but I think Lamond's gonna try and be a bit showy and do some cool sort of spinning about on the ground and then cartwheel over onto the back of the Minotaur and use his rapier to like stab through the like nape of his skull to like pierce the brain properly once and for all.
Nice. You had him down on one knee, so I think this is a pretty easy hit. I'm not going to make you roll, but he has an armor value, so as long as you do 1 point of damage, as long as you get past his armor, you basically have to roll a 2 or higher. You will kill him. So.
All right. 4.
Nice. You want to just describe that? Put him out of his misery.
Yeah. So I was pretty crafty with my spinning and my jumping and my leaping, and the rapier just slides so effortlessly and comes out through one of the eye sockets, and like ooze comes out with it, and then Lamond pulls out the rapier, and there's just like rotted brains on his rapier, and he flicks it, and like rotted brain goes flying towards
Nice.
Bowen.
I love it. That's very good. Well, we've got 1 Minotaur left. I think I'm going to go to our druid, Siobhan. The Minotaur's super focused on Bowen, so you can get up as a Minotaur. You're okay now. But what do you do? And I mean, and you can see that Bowen is like, I mean, it is, it's like it's almost like, lights out for Bowen. So what do you do?
I want to charge the Minotaur so that I knock Bowen out of its hands.
You can spend that hold and just do it. Just describe what it looks like.
Yeah. So I get up. I kind of like try and I'm still hurting, but I kind of like back up a little bit, so that I have enough room, and then I just like gallop into the Minotaur and like just slam into it and knock Bowen Bowen goes flying out of its hands onto the ground, and I kind of knock the Minotaur back.
Nice. And Bronca, I'm gonna let you wrap this one up. So what do you do? Oh, Bronca, Paladin.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'm not being very successful just killing things.
Excuse me, but can I do something in this round? Because you forgot me, I think.
Oh no, there's no like turns. I'm just kind of going with whatever I think looks good in the fiction. So.
Actually, I think it'd be really cool if I think Bronca's gonna turn to Akias and just like, come on, we've got to do this, and charges forward and tries to run this Minotaur through.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great. Maybe one of you could aid the other. It's an idea.
Yeah. Either way.
Sure, I'll aid Bronca because I don't have my spear, and ripping off Minotaur's heads with my bare hands kind of seems like
Yeah, I kind of imagined that you were like I was kind of imagining like you tearing apart the Minotaur like lasts a good second, right? Like, well, that's all going on. But go ahead and give me the initial roll there, Bronca. Hack and slash.
That is a 9.
So if I help you,
aid
that
will
will be
help.
a 10, right?
Yeah. So how are you helping?
I think I'll just roar at the Minotaur. Yeah, I run at him with my raised hands, and I roar at it like I will rip your head off too.
You can roll aid with charisma.
Oh no, that's not something I'm good at. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, well, I've got an 8. So
that's enough to bump him up. So that makes it a 10. You don't have to do too much damage here, Bronca, but go ahead and roll it.
Excellent. Oh, there it is, a 10. So the 11 with my +1.
Nice. Just wrap up the scene here. What does it look like when you destroy this Minotaur?
I think it turns its head to look at Akias roaring. And I mean, granted, Akias did just like rip its brother apart. So it makes sense. So I think it looks over, and I think as it does so, I just like cleanly lop its head right off. And it probably lands still looking over at Akias.
Nice. Good. All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back from the break, I'm going to let you guys explore the space a little bit and gather up treasures and things like that. But before we go on the break, I'm going to go ahead and present some establishing questions about the main adventure. These establishing questions are an opportunity for you as players to really, really hook your characters into the main part of the adventure, as well as give me some fun stuff to play with. And so I have some questions. And I'm going to start posing them to you all. And you're going to want to think about these, and I just need the answer at some point before we end the session. The first question is for... The first question is for Siobhan. Siobhan the Druid. So the main adventure. So you guys are after this is over, you're going to be heading to this inn and tavern called the Golden Onion. And this inn and tavern, none of you have ever stayed there before. You've only heard of stories of it, rumors of it. It's at a particular crossroads that connects the northern lands from the southerly lands. And so that's and out of character, that's where the bulk of the adventure is going to take place, is in that inn and tavern. But nevertheless, you're all going there to see this fabled inn, the Golden Onion, a great place to, celebrate your triumphs in the crypt of old Queen Rianne. And my question is for Siobhan: there is a long-term resident of the Golden Onion, a powerful lich who calls herself Vigreet the Bug Collector. This lich, Vigreet the Bug Collector, has among her formidable collection an insect of great importance to you. What kind of insect is it, and why do you need it so badly? So begin thinking of that. The next question, I'm going to make a note that that's for Siobhan. Next question is for Branka. You have heard rumors that there is a secret lodging room in the Golden Onion, a room you can only find when traversing the northeastern passages of the inn under very specific circumstances. I want to know, what are these circumstances, and what is supposed to be so special about this hidden room? And feel free to tie that to your character's story as you wish. Question for Bowen. Bowen, the basement, or really it's the wine cellar of the Golden Onion, is a vast and twisty space. In the heart of the wine cellar is allegedly the greatest treasure of the innkeep, a halfling named Glibben. What is this treasure, and why do you seek it? Next question is for Achaeus. Achaeus, there is a dwarven clan, Grimroots, who have their own dining hall in the Golden Onion, a space dominated by a great roaring fire in the shape of the head of an ancient dwarven king, his mouth filled with flame. The Grimroots rarely allow outsiders to join them in their little special dining room, but you very much want to get into that dining room. I want to know why. And finally, for our halfling, Lomond. Glibben, the halfling who runs the Golden Onion, allegedly has a large glass, like a large glass canister or vessel, filled with spirits. And inside this vessel, there is the body of a gnome steeping in the alcohol. And Glibbin rarely lets anyone drink from this. It's a very, very special thing to be invited to drink from it. Why do you want to drink this gnome-steeped spirit? So those are the establishing questions. Be thinking about those as we continue playing. We're going to go and take a 5-minute break and come back and then raid old Queen Rianne's crypt. Be back in 5. All right, looks like we're waiting on Noella, so we'll give Noella a minute.
I sent you a message on Slack. I just want to make sure that I got my question or wrote down my question right, if you don't mind.
Okay, I'll go check it out. Sorry, I'm loading Slack now. Yeah, that's right. All right, so just direct your attention one more time to the image board. You will see that middle image is kind of the space, and it kind of looks a lot like that. There are half crumbled columns and statuary, and going up some steps underneath this sort of little awning or overhead is a large sarcophagus that is presumably the sarcophagus of old Queen Rianne. I'm gonna let you all just kind of have this scene and look around and do as you wish, but I want to go ahead and direct your attention to the flags on the character sheet. If you take a look at the character sheet, everyone has flags, and I want to talk a little bit about flags, how they work, and what happens with them. So basically, flags are ways in which you want other player characters to interact with your character, right? So they're often like, encourage me to do X or ask me about Y, right? So they give a little signal to the other players of like how you would like to have interaction with you. And you get an experience point at the end of the game so long as you hit someone's flag. Like, you just hit someone's flag and you're good. You get an experience point. You just one. You should try to hit as many as you can because that's fun. But as long as you hit one, you get an experience at the end. The best way to hit a flag, in my opinion, is to just say, I want to frame up a scene to hit this flag, right? That is the easiest way of doing it. You don't have to like try to work it in some kind of role-playing genius or whatever. You just say, oh, I really like Bronca's flag that says, ask me about the natural history of a place and then suffer through my probably wrong answer. So I'm going to frame up a scene where I ask Bronca about this place, and then you just have that scene, and then boom, flag hit, right? And the person who gets the experience point is whoever asked Bronca, right? Whoever hits the flag. So that's the best way to hit flags. Sometimes flags get hit inadvertently, and that's fine too. But so that's what flags are. And it's just a way of getting your characters to interact a little bit. We're going to have a little journey to the Golden Onion after this little scene is over, and then that will give us a chance to kind of learn more about each of you and your sort of party dynamics with each other. So, but here we are in the center, the heart of the crypt of old Queen Rianne. The sarcophagus, which is presumably old Queen Rianne's sarcophagus, is there. And you all came looking for the Alderwood crown of old Queen Rianne. Turns out her Minotaur sons also have some pretty sweet-ass magic items. The one with the fireball, it's a ring. He's got a ring on. And yeah, so I'm just going to go around the table and see what you're each interested in doing, and then we will fire off moves in a way that makes sense. So, Bowen, what are you going to do?
Sorry, are we just kind of looking over are we looking over the magic items and stuff, or
whatever you want to do? Yeah, this is the plunder. this is the plundering part.
Yeah, I would want to see whatever that whatever that Minotaur had that was shooting the fireball.
Yeah, you can go check him out, and because you knew he had something magical in his hand.
Yeah,
and indeed he has a ring. It's a gold ring that, like all magic rings, it's sort of magically sized for his finger, but if you take it off, it'll resize for your finger. and it has a sort of like bright red gemstone on it. Yeah, that was the deal.
Yeah, I guess I'll go and take it and put it on.
Yeah, if nobody's interested in it, that's definitely something you can do. Bronco, what are you going to be doing?
So the first thing, I know that you started with Bowen, but I want to kind of like preempt that scene a little bit, because the first thing I would do would be drop my shield and sword and rush over to Bowen.
Good, yeah. We can have that scene.
It was my fault that I did not slay the Minotaur quickly enough, which led to Bowen being very, very hurt. So I think I would run up and just Bowen, let me. I'm sorry that I didn't kill it fast enough. Let me take on some of the burden. And I want to lay on hands on Bowen, if Bowen will allow me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
And I think that those scenes are almost like overlapping. Like you're kind of like almost even like I'm not even paying attention. I'm trying to go for the magic item. Then you kind of stop me right before I go.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Awesome. I'll let you roll that here, or go ahead and roll it. I'm going to cut away for a second. Lemon, what are you doing?
Yeah, so we can see all this pretty great treasure, right? The best treasure you can't see. I'm gonna scurry around and look for any potential like hidden doors or like hidden tiles that press tiles unlock things.
Oh yeah. Always tap on the plinths of statues. They are usually
yes. Yeah. Pull on all the torches.
Right. Pull the torches. Yeah. Move all the stones. Good. I'm gonna give you a roll for that in a moment. I'm gonna just cut over to Achaeus. Achaeus, what are you doing?
I think I'm going over to the moose. I think I know that's Siobhan.
Yeah.
And I think they're kind of hurt. I would just want to make sure that they're okay.
Also, Siobhan, how do you react?
I think I use the rest of my hold to turn back into a human. And I think, my neck has a big purple bruise on it from where I got stomped. But I think I just kind of say, I'm okay.
Okay, because, we didn't open the crypt and the queen might get out, and it would be better if you weren't hurt, I guess. So you want a healing potion or something?
Sure.
Okay, so I'll give you one of my... I have a healing potion, so I'll give you that.
It heals 10 hit points.
Cool.
So I just kind of I think I drink it and kind of make the disgusted face because I'm sure it tastes awful. But then I just hold my nose and drink it.
Nice.
Cool.
I'm going to briefly cut back over to Lomond to get that roll. What was the? It's going to be a discern realities, Lomond. Unless you want to check, unless you're checking for traps as well, in which case it's a trap expert.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't sure if I could use that for both, but that would be ideal.
Yeah, because trap expert still has a what else is hidden here component to it, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, cool. Let's
go for it.
Smash that one. And what is that? Rolling with Dex. Is that rolling with Dex? Yeah. I rolled an 8, and I think I have some Dex. Let me just check that. I have 1 Dex, so 9. That doesn't really change it. But yes, 9.
Great. So on your move, let's take a look at that. I should know it by heart, but I don't. You get to hold 1. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold 1.
And you spend it to ask one of those questions.
Is there a trap here? And if so, what activates it? What else is hidden here?
Not good. Forget the traps, right?
Yeah,
You're tapping around, and yeah. You're we've established that you are all seasoned explorers and adventurers, right? And that whenever you see statues, always tap on the bases of those statues because they're usually hollow, and that's where They put all the good stuff, right? And indeed, you find a statue that is crumbling away. It's missing its, ironically, its eye and part of its jaw. And you tap on the base of this statue. It was just a statue of a man, and it's hollow. It's definitely hollow. And you can kind of crack it a little bit, and yep, there's definitely something inside there. Your torchlight, you catch a glimmer. What do you do?
I carefully extract the treasure.
Yeah, it's fine. You crack open the rest of the base, and you pull out. You find three things. There's a sack of coin. The coin is it's ancient coin, but it spends just as well. And it's probably, if you quickly count it out, it's somewhere like it's like 200 coin. So you can note that.
Nice.
And then you also find in there a little pouch. This pouch, it's like a little leather case kind of. Inside it, it has 3 vials of liquid. And there is another coin, a larger coin about the size of your palm, just resting in there. And this coin, if you hold it up to your torchlight, you'll see that it has a 3-headed dog on it, stamped on it.
All right, not ominous at all.
Hey, who knows? All right, so continuing on, we're just going to kind of just keep bouncing around the scene here. I think we were having laying on hands, so how'd that go, Bronco?
Not well. I got a 6.
Fantastic, a 6. I think what I think this way this is going to go. How much damage had you taken in total, Bowen?
14.
14. I am going to suggest, so normally lay on hands, one of the options is the damage is transferred to you, right? But it's just a D8, right? So like the stakes are not like super high. I think the lay on hands just works really well. I think you take all of that damage into your body and transfer it from Bowen. Bowen, you're feeling great. And Bronco, you feel like crap. What do you think happened there, Bronco?
I think that sometimes when I call on like the inner patient strength of my god, that it knows that I can handle more of this than the wizard can. So it he transfers all of it over to me, and I definitely like have to slowly kind of take a knee and catch my breath a little bit as it all gets absorbed into me, and I just stand back up and like nod at Bowen with like a grimace on my face, and I just start walking off kind of to the side and slowly pick up my shield and sword, and I gotta go take a little walk.
Nice. Achaeus, once you are done seeing to Siobhan, what do you do then?
Well, I guess we're here for the sarcophagus of the queen, so let's go look at that. I guess it's up there, right?
Yeah, as you go a few steps and you see it there, it's kind of
Yeah.
large and carved with images of old Queen Rianne and her scenes from her reign, right? She was known to be a sort of like she was a sort of like a queen of the woods, a nature, like almost like she has a sort of almost like a saint-like disposition in legend or whatever, right? It's this nature person, this nature queen.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're up there with the sarcophagus. What do you do?
I call out to Bowen and say, "Hey, Bowen, is this thing magical?"
I guess I can try to cast Detect Magic again.
Yeah, go for it. See how that goes.
I can.
That's a 9.
Make a guess. Oh, you have to make a choice on 7 and 9 on cast a spell.
Yeah. I think I'm going to take the -1 ongoing to cast a spell.
There is definitely magic. The sarcophagus itself is not magic, but there is definitely very, very powerful magic inside the sarcophagus.
So the sarcophagus itself is not magic?
Right. But what it contains definitely is. There's
Okay.
definitely something very magical inside.
I would relay that to everybody around us.
Cool, it's probably that crown we're looking for, right?
Seems likely.
So then let's open this baby up.
Yeah. Do you give it a go?
Yeah, sure. I'll just try to open it,
Yeah.
pushing.
Yeah, it
Or
is.
lifting.
I think I'm going to do Ben Bar's lift gates because it's actually quite heavy, and it's quite heavy, and you're going to have to really like put your body into it. You're not going to really have control over getting the lid off, right? So give me Ben Bar's lift gates.
See about that. Oh well, I've got a 10. So I can choose 3. It doesn't take a very long, nothing of value. It can make an inordinate amount of noise. I don't mind that.
Okay.
Or no, wait, it can't. I can't fix it again. I like that better.
Okay, good. I think you managed to chuck it off, and so nothing will be damaged. That's good. It doesn't take very long. That's good. All right. And basically, you just get behind it, and you just use your powerful fighter strength, shove it off, and I think the lid just kind of cracks in two when it hits the ground. And inside, you see, just some dust, basically, just shriveled up, like little bits of bone and dust and skull. But you do see it. You see what must be the Alderwood crown of old Queen Rianne, because there's a crown that like seems to be like far too big for the skull that it was sitting on, right? It's almost like hanging kind of lopsided at this point over poor Rianne's skull. And it's a crown that's kind of very delicately carved of this wood. It has, for the elves among us, it has a very like elven sort of like detail to it, very finely carved. So you and Bowen are looking at this crown, and we're going to come back to that in a moment. We cut over to Siobhan. What are you up to in the meantime?
I'm walking around. I'm on the lookout for anything that looks like a book or, something that would have like knowledge value. I am not going to touch the crown because it gives. I'm getting some bad feelings. But I'm looking for things that more have like knowledge or historical value than like monetary value.
That's great. You can give me just for realities, and we'll kind of see how that goes. What plus wisdom? Did you roll plus wisdom?
8.
8. You get one question from the list. And I don't know if you need that handout or not, but it should be.
Oh, I have it.
Okay, cool.
What should I be on the lookout for?
Throughout most of your exploration of the dungeon up to this point, you have not found anything like scrolls or books. And a major reason for that is going to be the fact that old Queen Rianne's reign, when she was alive, this sort of like book and scroll on paper technology was not really a thing. It would have been quite rare. And indeed, this whole place was kind of built up around like long after the fact, long after her and her court were dead. But that doesn't mean there's not histories of her reign, and probably you'll be able to find them in the frescoes. There are frescoes on the walls. So you can go take a look at frescoes if you wish. And then we cut over to Branka. Branka, you're feeling not so great. But what do you do?
So after taking a little bit to like walk this off, and I kind of pretend that I'm examining the stonework or something, like just so that the others aren't aware of the fact that I'm in great pain. I'm gonna kind of slowly kind of wander back up. I'm gonna check out this minotaur with the girdle,
Yeah.
and try to examine that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, the girdle definitely stands out because it looks to be perfectly oiled and intact, like it has not suffered the ravages of time. And you don't have any reason to know it's magical unless Bowen tells you it is, but you can tell it's special and it's weird. He's the only Minotaur wearing one. So
I think I might. Well, I guess that. So Bowen's still over examining the thing. So I'm gonna ask Lomond. Actually, I'm gonna hit this flag. I'm gonna kind of shout out, like stand up and shout it over, and Lomond, come take a look at this. What do you think this is? The others aren't. They don't have one.
Lamond hastily like pockets all his gold and like scurries over to the body of the Minotaur and like looking at the fine detailing and is like, this will fetch you some gold. Like this embroidery, that's top quality. And that's real orca bone yeah, but I'm not touching it. It's already got all heaps of gore all over it. You can have it, mate.
I have a question. Are you lying about the orca bone? And are you just like saying whatever? Or is this like, do you think this is the truth?
Yeah, I think it's the truth. Like he knows his fencing values, and also if his colleagues profit from him, I believe maybe there's some sort of commission involved for that kind of advice. I wouldn't,
I'd like to push on the flag a little bit myself. So I will tell you that it's a girdle of giant strength. I'm going to say you just know that. And I would like for you to really let Branka know the story of like why you know this is a girdle of giant strength. Like what, that could be a tall tale or not, but
yeah. So in the land of the giants to the north of our lands, there was this really great warrior called Frederica. She could slay any of her giant kin if she wanted to, and there was a kindly old witch who had her cart had fallen over, and all of the other giants were going, no, little old witch, get out of our way, we'll just eat you. And Frederica saw this, and she wasn't feeling that hungry. She killed enough today, so she flicked up this cart, and out of gratitude, the kindly witch crafted her this magical girdle, and her oldest son sailed the seas for endless months to capture this orca and harvest its bones and wield it all together. And Frederica went on to live 700 more years, which is longer than normal, right? And slayed the rest of her kin because they were getting in her way. And then one day she just died of loneliness. That's why there's no more giants. The end.
It's a good story.
I think that at that Bronco's like, I can always rely on you, Loman. Thank you. And I'm gonna like get this girdle off of it and probably pull out a water skin and start washing off the Minotaur gunk.
Yeah, you can add that to your gear. Girdle of giant strength.
Yeah, 10% when you cash that in, buddy.
Very good. I'm gonna you are going to find some frescoes, Siobhan, and as long as I know that you are studying them, I'll come back and kind of give you some story there. Let's go over to Bowen and Achaeus. So, I mean, this is it. You came for the Alderwood crown of Old Queen Rianne. This is almost certainly the Alderwood crown of Old Queen Rianne. Bowen and Achaeus, let's just have that scene. What are you guys doing?
Well, let me have a look at your flags. Okay. So what are we doing? Should we just take it, or, I mean?
Well, I think we should take it. I mean, that's what we're here to do. But, you know, I'm worried it might be slightly cursed. It's very magical.
Okay. So I'm not touching it.
So, I mean, I could take it. I'm just worried.
Okay. Can't you do some magic thing to it so it's not cursed anymore?
Magic doesn't really work like that. Well,
Okay.
I mean, it used to,
You
but
say so?
okay. You know what? Yeah, you're right. I have an idea. Okay, you
Okay.
take it, and then just like give it to me, and that way, like the curse will be confused.
Okay, so I guess I will hit your flag with the improbable plan. Wild and unlikely scheme when we're in a pinch. Yeah, I guess that's covered. And
I think it covers it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're sure about this?
Yeah, trust me. Like, if it's a curse, it has to tell you it's a curse. So if you take it and you give it to me, we'll know for sure if it's cursed.
Okay.
And it'll be easy to deal with.
Yeah, whatever. If you say so. I never knew magic worked like that, but I'm wearing gloves, so I guess it should be fine.
A lot of assumptions going on. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Okay, let's go and confuse the curse. Okay, so I'll look at the crown and say, hello, crown, I'm a powerful wizardess, and I'm going to take you now. And then I take it, and then I give it to Bowen.
As soon as you touch the crown, Achaeus, you have a very strong smell in your nostrils. Like as soon as your gloved hands make contact with the crown, you have this strong smell of like, the best way to describe it is just like a pasture. Like it just smells like animal dung and dirt, and it fills your nostrils very powerfully. Powerfully, and I'll add an extra little adjective in there, seductively.
Oh,
what is it about the smell that like what does it put you in mind of that is suddenly so appealing?
I think it puts me in mind of something I haven't thought about in a long time, because I can't even remember when this was. It must have been very little. And there is this cow. It's a pretty thin cow, but I know it's our cow. And there is this woman who I feel like she's somebody important to me, and she is just showing me how to milk that cow. And I'm totally confused because I never had this memory before. But it's mine, I guess.
Do you have the crown over?
Yeah, sure. I think it's cursed, and I give it to you.
You have the same sensation, Bowen, when you grab the crown. You have this smell, this powerful smell of earth and animal dung and like sweating horse. And it is a powerful, also seductive smell. What does it put you in mind of?
I think it reminds me of old elvish tales I've heard. Back when the elves didn't build their own towers. Their towers grew from the earth.
Ooh.
They didn't have to build their towers because the earth built towers for them, and they lived on the land. They lived in the land and them were allies.
Nice. So, Siobhan, you've been looking at the frescoes, trying to puzzle out. You're going to puzzle out the story of old Queen Rianne. I'm going to say that you're kind of combining it with your own knowledge of like the natural world and things like that, right? I'd like a spout lore. I'm going to let you take it at +1 as well. So be +1 +1. Let's have that roll, and then I'll kind of tell you something interesting and hopefully useful.
It's 4.
4. The story of old Queen Rianne is an unfortunate one. It's a dreadful one, really. Old Queen Rianne had a very powerful ideology. She wanted the beasts to rule the earth, to rule the world. She found no use for humans whatsoever. And even though she was human, found no use for them. And it's little known, but you're putting the pieces of the puzzle together, that old Queen Rianne actually began, well, first she tried to like make humans better by combining them with beasts, hence her sons. But then when that didn't work out, maybe her sons were a disappointment to her, who knows, like so many sons are to their mothers. She decided to just, you know what, to hell with it. And she began genociding all the people in her lands to make way for the beasts. And I think I'm going to take 3 hold on you for your missed roll. And these 3 hold, I think you are going to, as you're piecing the puzzle together, Siobhan, you're going to look at the Alderwood crown that your companions are examining, and you're going to feel a powerful compulsion to continue the work of old Queen Rianne. And all the better if you have your hands on her crown. I will occasionally spend the hold to present you with an opportunity to destroy humankind. And whenever you take that option, you'll get to mark an XP. But for now, that's where you are. Last thing in this area is that axe. If anyone's taking the axe, please let me know, the lightning axe. But otherwise, I think the scene is pretty much done. So, and I assume you're keeping the crown as well, Bowen.
I'm picking up my thrown dagger from earlier too.
Yep. Yeah. If there's like something like, recover all your stuff that's recoverable. That's totally fine. And well, you're digging your hand into poor Keldon's skull, aren't you? To retrieve it, right? It's like those Halloween games. You put your hands in the bowls of like peeled grapes or whatever. It's that kind of thing.
Spaghetti is brains, I think.
Exactly right. Yeah, very good. Thank you. And it's a good point. It's a good point, Ellen. You're a halfling, so it's easy peasy, right? Is anyone taking the lightning axe? That's the last thing to kind of resolve here.
I mean, if no one else is taking a cool axe, yeah, you can have it, Akias.
Oh yeah, because
I
you
don't
took the
want-
girdle. So, yeah.
I would take it with us, but I've got my spear, so it's not that cool. But I'm not familiar with the hammer. I would sell it, so. And I'll take the Minotaur's jawbone too as a trophy.
Yeah, JD brings up a very good point of you can take blacksmith as a move at level 2, and then forge your spear with the axe and get a lightning spear.
Nice, that's cool. Yeah, then I'll take it.
All right, so note those things in your gear, whoever took the ring, whoever's got the crown, and all that stuff. And also, please note for me, Noella, that I have 3 hold on you, and just make a little notation that is, note that as the work of old Queen Rianne, please. And I think we're good to go for that scene. Does anybody, we have a few minutes before break. Huh?
That was a hammer, right? Or an axe?
It's an axe, yeah. And you can just refer to it as like, actually the exact name of it, if you wish to know, is the, I gotta find my Minotaur names. I thought it was Keldon or Keldon. What is the damn Minotaur's name? Oh, Keldor. Keldor, Celdor, Keldor's lightning axe. So we have a few minutes before we go on our second break. Does anyone have the answer to their establishing question yet that they want to go ahead and tell me? If you do, pipe up, and you can tell. FYI, you can also tell us in a scene if you wish, but if you want to just tell me outright, that works great for me too.
Real quick, what did you say the crown was made out of?
Well, it's called the Alderwood crown, so presumably some kind of wood called Alderwood. And it's very it's got a very elven design. It's very finely thing. Also, hints of the lore, right? Because if it's an elven crafted crown that a human wore. Yeah, I don't know.
I have an answer.
Oh yeah, please tell me.
So, what is the name of the lich?
I'll type it in the chat. Her name is Vigreet the Bug Collector.
Vigreet. So she has an Arctic, like an Arctic mosquito
Okay.
that has some kind of like yellow fever type thing that I could in fact use to kill all the humans.
Nice. I'm here for it. Good. So she has a rare Arctic mosquito that you believe, in your sort of fantasy knowledge, you would just know it to be like it holds the secret to a plague, right? Or something,
yeah.
Right? Yes, that's good. I love it. That's a great answer. Thank you. Anybody else have their question or their answer for the question?
I've got mine.
No, JD, go for it.
All right. So I said that it's this like secret room is only accessible when it's raining because the northeastern tunnels flood, and so the only way that you can actually get up into it is to swim up there while the tunnels are flooded.
Oh, good, nice. What's so special about the room?
I think within like the waters carry artifacts from ancient civilizations like up and deposit them there, and so there's just trinkets, but trinkets that would be expensive and potentially worth quite a bit of money to the right collectors that have essentially collected there over time. And I had this idea of them like the pebbles and stones that get left behind by the rivers or by the flooding have like solidified, and so these artifacts are kind of like stuck in the stones.
Nice, good. Is there a particular artifact you're looking for, or just?
No, I don't think so. I mean, my character is would be interested in the time aspect of it more than anything else.
Okay, good, fair.
But if it's the secret room that we heard of that has all this treasure in it, like cool.
Yeah. Interesting. Great. I love it. Archaeus.
Yeah, because Archaeus heard that the dwarves have in their room something that's called the Stone of Ancestry. And she was never very interested in her ancestry. She grew up with these mercenaries, but they weren't her birth parents. They looked different from her. And now she has this memory with the cow and that woman who might have been her mother because she looked like her a bit. And now she wants to know She wants to go to the Stone of Ancestry and spread her blood around over it. And then the stone, it's said that stone is truly, really, that's what she heard, that the stone is really a mountain and that has its roots down under all the earth and knows all the blood of all the people. So she wants to spread her blood, and the stone then will tell her who her parents are.
Splendid, thank you. Anyone else? Okie doke. Let's take a look at the time. We can keep playing for a little bit before going break. So like I said before, you are all, I mean, this was a great, fantastic delving. Terrific, even like really, really great. You have tales to tell, and you knew you were going to have tales to tell afterwards, because you are the group of adventurers who managed to get inside and indeed defeat the guardians of the center of old Queen Rianne's tomb. And like all good adventurers, you intend to go to the inn, blow all your money, and tell your stories. And one of you can't even remember who anymore, but one of you had the idea of going to the Golden Onion, an inn you have not traveled to before, and an inn that has this fabulous reputation. I mean, you all have these strange stories about it and things you've heard, and none of them that didn't even make any sense. Like they shouldn't even work, like the spaces didn't seem like they should work. But the Golden Onion, it's a destination inn and tavern, let's just put it that way. And so you're going to be traveling to it, and you're going to be traveling south to reach the crossroads where the inn is. And I think from where you're starting out, which is from the temple or from the mausoleum, the crypt, it's probably like I'd say a good 5-day journey. Not too bad. And so we have a move that's called Undertake a Perilous Journey. And for Undertake a Perilous Journey, I do a custom version of it. It works basically the same, but there are a few little bells and whistles that I add to it. But basically, for Undertake a Perilous Journey, you have to choose one person to be in each of 3 roles. So we have a quartermaster who manages all the food and supplies. We have the scout, who is always ahead of the group and who reports back periodically, but who's ahead of the group looking for danger. And then we have the third one that I can't remember what it is, but basically they're the navigator, who knows the way, basically, right? So until you reach a road. So I guess I just want to know who is going to be the scout, who's going to be the navigator, thank you, the trailblazer, and who's going to be the trailblazer. The role that you do for this is always wisdom. So you guys can be strategic about that if you wish, but at the end of the day, I would just go with whatever sounds cool. Like if you think you'd be a good scout, then just pipe up and say so.
I can be the scout.
I'll blaze that trail.
Cool. Who wants to be in charge of the food?
The halfling.
The thieving halfling.
Do you know how much we like our second breakfasts? Is
Indeed.
There's only so much room in that stomach.
Yeah. I'll volunteer for sure.
Very good. Undertake a Perilous Journey. We're going to go on break, but I have some questions related to Undertake a Perilous Journey. This is my custom procedure for Undertake a Perilous Journey. And when we get back, I'd like to know the answers to these questions. For the Trailblazer, who was, that was Bronca, right? For Bronca, I want to know, I think there is something in the geography, a landmark of some sort, natural or man-made, that you are using to navigate by. Like basically, when you get to this thing, you then need to cut east and go another 10 miles or whatever, right? There's something you're looking out for. I want to know what that thing is, and I want to know if what history or legend is associated with it. Okay. For the scout, you know these lands by reputation, Siobhan. And I want to know what you are particularly scared of running into on this journey. What are you particularly keeping an eye open for? So think of that. Quartermaster. You are the quartermaster. You are essentially in charge of making and breaking camp as well. And you have more opportunity than anyone to really, really keep an eye on your companions and get to know them well. One of your companions does something that you find to be supremely irritating. And after having been on the road with them for so long, it is acute. I want to know what that irritating thing is. But also, one of your companions, perhaps the same companion, does something you find to be surprisingly endearing. I want to know what that is as well. Then we have two people without jobs, Bowen and Achaeus. Bowen, you're a magic type. The Golden Onion doesn't make any sense. How can there be a room where it rains and the passage floods and that allows you to reach higher rooms? And how can there be a vast, twisty wine cellar? And how can there be a special secret dining hall or private dining hall, the whole clan of dwarves? It doesn't make any sense. It's all preposterous sounding, but you know, it could be magic. I want to know, like, there are many stories and rumors about like why the Golden Onion, how the Golden Onion can be so weird and vast, possibly even appearing bigger on the inside than it does on the outside. I want to know what your wizardly theory is, you know, on what is going on with that. And finally, for Achaeus, the question I want to know from you. Ever since leaving the tomb of old Queen Rianne, you have started to suspect that Bowen is dead. I want to know why. Let's take 5.
Hey JD, just quickly. Luke just woke up and said that he dreamt that you got him a present, which was a DIY Ghostbusters loincloth.
I don't even know where I would get one of those, but I'll keep an eye out.
It's DIY, so I think you made it.
I have to make it myself. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell him hi for me.
So we're waiting on Noella. Is everyone having fun so far? Fun check. Good. Cool. I'm enjoying it. I haven't run Dungeon World in a long time, and it feels good to be back in the Dungeon World saddle. So.
Yeah, this is only my second time playing Dungeon World, and it's very fun.
Yeah, awesome. Good. Yeah, Dungeon World's
I've never played Dungeon World before.
Yeah, a lot of people there are a lot of legit criticisms that are leveled at Dungeon World, but at the end of the day, I think it does what it's trying to do really well. So
it's the first role-playing game that I ever played, so it got me into RPG. So
nice, good, that's cool.
Love it.
Cool. Perilous journey through southerly lands to reach the Golden Onion Inn and Tavern, the preposterous, impossible Golden Onion. Trailblazer, what's the landmark you're looking for?
So I have been waiting until we reached the Sanguine River. It is a blood red river that flows out from underneath this mountain that is supposed to be the dead body of a massive rock, a massive bird. So the mountain
rock, yeah.
The mountain looks a little bit like a bird. You can kind of, if you squint, you can see it from one particular angle.
Nice.
But whatever like this, it's a stream that bubbles up from deep within the earth and then flows out to the ocean from there. But it's the Sanguine River that's said to be its blood.
I love it. Go ahead and roll plus wisdom.
That's a 13.
Nice. You're going to make great time. What was a 5-day journey is going to be a 4-day journey. So bravo. I think also, as you get to the Sanguine River, which points you toward the road, which is the main thing you're looking for, and in its blood red waters flowing down, just beneath the surface of the blood red waters, you see what is pretty clearly a chest over which rocks and silt, just to echo your establishing question from earlier, rocks and silt have kind of built up over it, right? But you definitely see a handle and a bit of brass kind of glinting in a sort of thin part of the water, red thin part. What do you do? You're muted, JD.
Yeah, I was looking over flags to see if I would trigger anybody's. I've already hit Lomond, but I guess I might hit Lomond again.
Nothing wrong with
that. Lomond, do you see that? There's a handle sticking out from the water there. If I hold on to you, do you think that you can swim out to it and grab it?
Oh, no. No, we're not a terribly good swimmer.
Siobhan, actually, how about you? Could you transform into something that could grab this?
Yes.
What do you transform into?
How deep is the water?
It's like I think this particular part is not too deep, like maybe just a few feet.
Okay, then I'm gonna turn into a grizzly bear.
Oh, nice, good. I don't need the role. I like just the fiction of it. So like you change it to a grizzly bear, and you can kind of wade out there and
just lumber out there.
Yeah.
Grab it with my jaws.
I love it. And that's a great visual because you kind of like pull it up, you wrench it free, and there's a spray of blood red water and rock as this chest, like is wrenched free. And the chest is quite big, actually. The chest is like the size of, it's like the size of a, well, it's like a trunk, really. It's like that kind of size. Like, a small person could like squeeze up inside of it, right? But you wrench it free, and I think like your strength gets the better of you. You pull it free, it kind of flies. It must be very airtight. In fact, once you examine it, you'll see that it's wax sealed. But it flies toward you, Bronca, and Bronca, just instinctively you reach out to catch it, even though it would crush you completely. But you instinctively reach out to catch it, and you catch it easily. Are you wearing? You must be wearing the girdle. I assume you're wearing the girdle at this point.
Yeah.
And you catch it so easily. You're like, whoa, and it's just like nothing. It's just like a little baby. What do you do?
I'm gonna like set it down and then quickly like kind of stop and look at my hands and you're in strength. And then I'm gonna try to take a look at it. It's wax sealed, you said. Is there a place to like break the seal, or is there a lock to it?
You can just grab a knife and start cracking it open. Yeah, it's no big deal.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do then. Let's see what's inside, shall we?
Inside of it is nestled in some soft fabric. There is a large egg. This egg is the size of a nightstand or an end table. Big egg.
Hey, Bowen. What do you think this is? Have you ever seen anything like this?
I've seen something like this once, except it was much smaller. It was about like this size. It looks like an egg.
So you're saying you've seen eggs before? Is that?
I have. We do actually have eggs in the Elven lands.
Thank you so much, Bowen. You're always so helpful.
I try.
I guess I'm gonna look more closely at. Is there any kind of like distinguishing features of this egg, or is it just a big egg? Is it a real egg, or is it like a statue or something?
You can spot lore about it. Roll plus int.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, that's a 6.
Should I come over his shoulder and
You can help, yeah.
aid?
You can.
And come up with some crazy tale?
I love it. Yeah, let's just have an int roll from you and see if that gives you if that bumps it up.
Ooh, it does not. I could help with the misinformation.
I'm just gonna go in really, really deep here. I got 2 misses. Both of you mark XP, please. I think you don't know what it is at all, Bronca. You're looking at the egg, and Bowen's being a snarky asshole elf, and you're looking it over, and I think Lomon just comes over, looks over your shoulder, is like, "Yep, that's a rock egg." And this is out of character knowledge. I don't know if your characters, it's irrelevant whether your characters know it or not. I think they don't know it. We're going to say they do not know it. Out of character knowledge, it is a rock egg. And rocks have a very strange thing where they will, ROC, rock, like big bird, giant bird. They have a thing where anybody who touches one of their eggs they know it and can track that person to the ends of the earth. And yeah, and you two are just like, oh yeah, rubbing your hands on it. That's a rock egg, you know, and that's what's going on.
I think I come over and say, leave it alone. That's a baby. I don't think I necessarily know it's a rock egg because that's not my geographic area of expertise, but I know it's like I treat it like a baby animal.
How would it have ended up in this chest? Obviously, it's been taken from wherever it was supposed to be to begin with.
Maybe it's valuable.
It looks very valuable.
Or
It's
cursed.
valuable to its mother.
We don't even know how long that chest has been in there.
I know some collectors that would like a piece of it.
Like decadent nobles who eat rare animals or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you crush the shell to make some crazy bone meal that will give you everlasting life.
It's great, yeah.
Or
I
at
would just
least
like
talk
to say this. Also, as this conversation is going on, I'm like in the back thinking all humans deserve to die.
And halflings and elves too. But basically all the sentient species are up for grabs here. Good. Are you all taking the rock egg? You can carry it on your back very easily, Braca, if you wish. So.
I think to appease Siobhan, I'll be like, listen, it obviously doesn't belong in a chest in the middle of the Sanguine River, so I'll just carry it with me until we can return it somewhere safe.
Yeah, look, seriously, Siobhan, like, why are you always getting in the way of us getting the good stuff? All you want is broken old paper and, like, books and artifacts that aren't worth anything. Do you know the resale value of this thing?
Besides, lots of things eat other things' eggs. I mean,
Yeah, that bear would be eating its mama if it could.
I think I like kind of turn away, like, all right, and it's clearly like you hurt my feelings.
I just realized, are you in bear form for this whole conversation?
No, I turned back into a person. I don't think you would say that to me if I was in bear form.
I think Bowen is absolutely bewildered. It's like, this is just an egg. Like, we got eggs, big eggs, small eggs. We got all kinds of eggs back where I come from.
Good. So more journey. My scout. Siobhan, what are you worried about running into in this stretch of land?
What is the geography that we're going through?
It's kind of like going from like cold northern climes to temperate southern climes.
Like forest, mountain.
A mix, yeah, forest, plains, hills, whatever you wish, whatever seems interesting. Over the course of the journey, you'll run into stretches.
Especially as we're going through like the mountainous and wooded areas, I know that there is a very dangerous predator that lives here, and it's a species called the gray panther, and it's basically like a giant, like a very strong and fast and larger cougar. And if we run it, and it could easily pick one of us off if we got separated from the group, and probably also do damage when we're in a group. It's not really something you want to run into.
Terrific. Go ahead and roll plus wisdom.
Eight.
You are keeping an eye open for this gray panther. not wanting to run into it. Because if it gets you by yourself, especially, you said it's quite deadly. At a certain point, because you scout ahead, you're ahead of the group by quite a bit. At a certain point, you run into a family. Mother, father, 3 children of various ages. They are probably like traveling merchants or something like that. One of them is playing an instrument, so maybe they're like a troubadour family or something like that. Who knows? And as you are perhaps in the form of a bird or something watching this family, you are reminded of how old Queen Rianne knew that the best way to stop the plague of humanity from spreading across the earth was to prevent their migration and travel. Just put a stop on it, close off the roads, and stop all travelers. Bloody. If you slaughtered them, you could probably blame it when the group ran into this slaughtered family. You could probably blame it on the Grey Panther. I will spend my hold. You will get an XP if you slaughter the family.
So I also have a move called Studied Essence. When you spend time in contemplation of an animal spirit, you may add its species to those you can assume using shape-shifting.
Oh, nice.
So I want to be in contemplation of the Grey Panther spirit and be able to assume its form, and then as a Grey Panther slaughter this family.
Nice, good. Since you got the 7 and 9, I'm not going to make it an automatic kill. I'm going to make you roll for it, but just give me. But it's going to be a kind of abstraction of the whole conflict. So,
yeah.
Give me a dexterity roll, and depending on how that goes, we'll kind of see how easy it was to slaughter the family. Go ahead and roll plus dexterity.
That's a 9.
The 3 children are easy. You're able to pick them off as soon as they go into the tree line to do their natural business. The father, he's been in his wineskin for the better part of the afternoon. He goes down pretty easy too. The mother puts up a heroic fight and sticks you a couple of times pretty solidly with a spear that they have with them. The only weapon they have with them. Her dead husband's spear, I suppose. And you take some damage, like a d6. And you manage to finish her off too. That kill actually feels the best because she put up a fight. And then later, when you are all traveling in this direction, you've met back up with Branka, and you all arrive at the site of this bloody, vicious, guts everywhere, bodies strewn about. Let's just have that scene. Role play.
So I'm the first on the scene since I'm trailblazing, right? So I think immediately, like,
And
sword drawn.
Mark an XP Bronca if you didn't for the
Yeah.
for taking the hold.
Yeah. So I'm the first who comes out and draw my sword immediately and start looking around. I'm trying to figure out what kind of monster did this to this family. Obviously they have to. This looks like a fresh kill. They have to still be around. So yeah, I'm looking for whatever danger still lurks in the woods.
As I come up, I think I say to you, this is a Grey Panther. This is what they're capable of. This is why, and like kind of turns to the group and like, this is why we have to be careful.
Why are you bleeding?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think I'd like for it to be a little more subtle than that, but I love that. I love where you're going with that, Lomond. Lomond, you see that in human form, Siobhan has like blood on their fingertips.
And didn't the Grey Panther form get stabbed as well?
Oh, it did. That's
Yeah.
right. Yes. So there's a bit of there's blood. Yeah, that's a very good point.
Oh, I think maybe you like ask me, and I say something like, because I had just come back from scouting, and I say that I fell while I was scouting. Like I felt like I fell from like the sky. Like I accidentally like got like blown over, and my bird form fell, and I got hurt.
Branch.
Yeah, I hit a tree branch, and I fell and hurt myself.
Did you fall into a pit of spikes? Because like there's holes in you. Like, are you the right person to be scouting for us? Because
I fell onto rocks, and I was like, it was just a random accident.
Yeah, okay. And
Lomond, don't you think that we have more important things to worry about right now? I'm still like looking at the edge of the woods.
well, our scout can't even get back in one piece, and I'm sure they didn't come across any treasure while they were flying around into the trees. Did you? No treasure? No.
I mean, if you guys want, I could just summon the spirits of the folks who have died, and we could just ask them ourselves. Well, I could ask them.
I mean, it's pretty obvious that they were killed by this panther. I mean, those weren't normal weapons that did that. Those aren't sword wounds.
If this creature is along this path and people need to travel it, we need to slay it so that this can't happen again.
Yeah, maybe there's a reward for that. It's pretty dangerous thing.
I don't know. Reward for like killing an animal in a forest. That doesn't come out often. Can't we just go to the pub?
I mean, it comes out obviously, and I point to them slaying people.
At the very least, I don't know where you people come from, but we at least bury our dead. So the least we could do is bury them.
I guess we should.
Let them return to the earth.
Yeah. So burying this family is what's going on.
Yeah, why not?
While the burying is going on, Lomond, you find the spear that was used to put a few holes in this gray panther. What do you do?
I look at it, and I suppose it's got like panther hair on it and blood, and it's like
There's clearly a fight that happened. Yeah.
yeah.
An attempt was made.
An attempt was made. Yeah, look. Bowen, check this out. Look. At least this woman, well, this bits of woman would have seen something. Maybe it's worth talking to her because, like, it's a panther, and it couldn't even like kill this woman. This woman had a chance to do some stabbing.
Yeah, I mean, I can take it and look at it further. It seems I mean, maybe the panther took her last, but there's no way that she should have been able to put up that much of a fight. Yeah, I definitely want to look into that.
Do you have the contact spirit spell?
I do.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll it.
I look at that very suspiciously.
That's an 11.
Nice. How does the spell work? Just read it to us.
Let me find it. Contact spirits. Name the spirit you wish to contact or leave it to the GM. You pull the creature through the planes just close enough to speak to you. It is bound to answer one question you ask to the best of its ability.
And I think you're the only one who experiences this, right? You do the spell, and it's almost, you feel this whoosh and this rush of this spirit, which is the woman, but she has a sort of like spectral, sort of silvery spectral appearance, right? And she's so freshly dead that she still looks terrified. Like she still has this look of like, it's like utter terror mixed with deep, intense sadness because, you know, her kids and her husband were murdered, mixed with resolve because, well, her kids and her husband were murdered. What do you ask?
Please note that I am 100% going to interrupt this.
Please do.
Oh, I love it. It's good. Yeah.
Let's see.
I'll let you ask your question, though. I'd like to know what the question is before it gets interrupted.
Where were you going before you were attacked?
Oh. She leans in and whispers in your ear, a faint smile on her spectral lips. Are you interrupting at this point?
Yeah, sounds good.
And what do you do?
I think it's so they were able to hurt it. Bowen, do you have a way to track this creature with your magics?
And you, Bowen, I think you briefly look over, and it's long enough, and all you hear a single word. You catch just a single solitary word from the spirit. And the word that you catch is the gate. But you miss the rest.
Okay.
How do you react when Bronca just kind of rudely interrupts this?
I think actually at some level I'm used to it. Like I'm used to only getting just bits and pieces of the story. And then I just turn to Bronca and like, can't you tell when I'm casting a spell? You're slightly magical. You should be able to figure these things out.
Oh, were you just? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You can continue, please.
No, I can't. It's over.
Yeah, and you know it's over because the spirit gives a terrible anguish scream of sadness and horror as she's ripped back to the plane behind the black gates of death.
Bronca, something terrible killed these people today.
I know, and I'm trying to find it and kill it so that it doesn't happen again. Don't you have a way to follow it, to follow its spirit or something?
You need to think single-minded. Find it first, then kill it. Don't find it and kill it. Just find it.
That's very wise, but how do we find it?
if I were able to have talked to the spirit longer and found out more about the gate.
What gate?
I don't know. The gate. Let's find a gate. Do you know of a gate?
Well, that's not where this creature went that harmed them, right? Isn't that what you were trying to learn?
How would she have known where that creature was going?
That's a good point, Nikias. Siobhan, surely you have a way to track this creature. Can't you transform into a dog or something?
Yeah, you live like them.
It depends.
On what?
There, I could try, but there's not just one Grey Panther.
Yeah, we want to find the one that killed these people because it's a man killer.
Exactly. These people cut it open. You can just follow the blood.
You used to tell us about the Grey Panther, and now you're telling me there's multiple Grey Panthers?
I was, it was an expression. I mean, the Grey Panther is a species. It's not just one.
Yeah, but how many of them live in these woods?
I mean, it's a non-endangered species. Thousands.
And they're living in packs, or?
No. Felines don't live in packs.
I don't get it. So there's just one of these things that killed these people. Can you track it, or can't you?
I mean, I can try, but I don't know how far I will get. There's many different scents crisscrossing these lands.
Huh.
These are not the only corpse freshly killed today.
They're not.
I mean, animals are killing and eating each other all the time.
Siobhan, do you know anything about the gate?
Which gate?
The gate. I don't know.
Any gate.
Well, paddocks have gates. Castles have gates. No, I don't. I am from the Arctic. We do not have castles or gates in the Arctic.
You have no gates. Isn't that a bit cold? Okay, you know what? You're the kind of person who knows this wilderness stuff. So do you think we should find this panther to protect further future travelers or not?
I have to highlight for the video JD's comment, which is, wait, the gate or a species of gates?
No, for real. Is there like rock like gates? Is there a creature that is called a gate, like the creature that's called a rock? Seriously.
And so this goes on at some length with Siobhan maybe even half-heartedly trying to track the Grey Panther.
Yeah.
No luck finding the Grey Panther. And that is that. Siobhan, you may note the Grey Panther transformation. The special move you get for transforming to the Grey Panther is Slaughter the Defenseless. That's your move.
Oh, man.
So as long as whatever you're facing off is totally defenseless, you kill them immediately. So, on the road. Quartermaster, one of your companions does something you find to be supremely irritating. What is it?
Oh my god, you can't tell? Like, seriously, I am sick of Siobhan. Like, just, the animals. Oh, look at these books. Oh, don't worry about the gold. Like, come on. Every day.
And who does something surprisingly endearing?
Well, I am taken aback when I find myself watching Acus one morning after breakfast. Acus is polishing and sharpening the blade, and I know a good blade when I see one, and I sidle up and I'm like, that is a fine weapon you have there. Clearly you do need to use it a little bit more. that last mission was a bit messy.
Yeah, well, I usually don't use it, lose it, but well, yeah.
Where did you get it from?
Oh, well, I got it from, that was in the south a bit. We were fighting some dwarves, actually. And dwarves, they are very good weapon makers. And
correct.
And it was a long campaign, and it was bloody. And in the end, we won. We stormed the gates, and I went into this smithy and looked around for weapons because the smith had gone. And I saw this blade for a spear. And I've always liked spears. I don't know why, but I've always liked them. And I found another dwarf and got him to put this blade on the spear. And I've had it since. I mean, I was pretty young at that point. It was a lot taller than me when I started off. I was about your height, I think, or maybe a bit taller.
Whoa! So like a child.
Yeah, I've been with the mercenaries my whole life.
Yeah. Okay. And like, I'm not gonna sell it on you, but like, are there other ones? Just in case I happen to be in those lands, and like, because if they're mass produced,
they're not. No, these dwarves, they only did one weapon in a certain way once. That was their thing. I don't know, that was not good businessmanship. And their warriors, they had very weird weapons at some point, because you couldn't do a normal sword, because that would be not a masterpiece,
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought. Like, you must have been about like my age or a little bit younger when you first went out like fighting. Like, why did you leave your home?
I don't remember, actually. I always was with these mercenaries.
Well, that's a boring story.
Yeah. Yeah, so I say you are just 13, or no, you've got to be older, Lamont.
Yeah, and so I'm 19. Look, I look like I'm a 13-year-old human, but I'm 19. I'm pretty much a man. I'm a man.
Yeah, I mean, you've got that manly voice,
Yeah. Just so you guys know, I was just also hitting on the flag there for speaking of Life Beyond Mission.
Indeed.
Thanks, Sabine.
Yeah.
Very
cool.
good. Bowen. The Golden Onion is just, to most people, it's preposterous. It doesn't make any sense. How can it have all these strange features? How does it have a lich as a long-term resident? And so forth. What's your theory about the Golden Onion?
Well, my theory is...
Oh, and also, I need a wisdom roll from our quartermaster, please. Just give me a wisdom roll there when you get a moment, Lamont. But please continue, Bowen. Theory.
My theory is that there is a pocket dimension, and the lower and lower you go, into it, the smaller and smaller you become.
Interesting. So you're postulating that, or positing rather, that the golden onion is itself a pocket dimension? Or inside one?
It has, well, yeah, actually, it might be inside one. The further you go into it, the smaller you become.
Good. Interesting. That's an interesting theory. I got a note from Lomond that you got an 8 on Quartermaster. That's terrific. So it's a 4-day journey, which means everyone needs to give up 4 rations, unless you're the druid, in which case you do not. But everyone else, for the rations, if you do not have 4 rations, or if you cannot get 4 rations from someone, you are going to, I'm going to highlight your con in yellow because you're going to have a -1 forward for hunger.
How many rations? 4?
4.
Oh, that's a lot.
I am sustained by nature, so I don't need to eat or
You
drink.
do not do it. Yep. Sustained by, nature.
Hey, I didn't eat them, okay?
That's 6-year-old, very natural.
I did not. I did not go that far. I did not munch on the kids.
Also, for the recorded record, I did not realize that, the whole onions have layers thing was a thing before I said that.
Yeah.
Poetry.
Yeah.
Do you not know that reference?
Just
No.
a synergy. There's a synergy sometimes. We're going to wrap here. Well, not quite yet, but Achaeus, you suspect that Bowen is dead. It's little things, I suspect. Little details that are making you think he's dead. Why do you think Bowen's dead?
I think when I passed the crown to him, and the curse passed to him, and well, I guess he died of the curse because he's so pale. I mean, that's kind of unnatural, and I don't think I've seen him breathe, and what he pretends to eat is so little. No, I don't know. And he did eat zombie minotaur brains. That can't be healthy either, right? But I think it's the curse mostly from the crown. But as long as
you have not noticed him breathing.
No. I have not noticed anybody else breathing, but
But every time you look at Bowen, you don't see any, you don't see the movement of his chest. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good. Not saying you are dead, Bowen, just that Achaeus is suspicious and thinks you might be dead. Good. Great. You eventually reach the golden onion. I'm going to insert a picture of the exterior of the golden onion into the image board. If I have an exterior picture, let's see. It looks like a fairly small inn and tavern, a little 2-story affair. You see on its wooden sign an onion, gilded, right, with kind of gold paint, and it has a nice warm Thomas Kincaid glow, and it is there at the crossroads. I think you arrive at night, just like it looks in the picture there. And I think we are nearing the end of the session. For those of you who have not answered your establishing questions, I will take the answers before next week, but if you have them right now, we'll take them right now.
I think I'm the only one.
I think Lomond owes this one too. But please start. Go ahead.
But yeah. So mine was the wine cellar is a vast and twisty space. In the heart of a wine cellar, it is supposedly the greatest treasure of the halfling named Clibin. What is this treasure and why do you seek it? And I think the treasure is the seed to one of the ancient elven trees. Like, we now have to create towers to pretend to be what we used to be as elves. And they have a seed of basically what used to grow our trees.
Nice. And so you intend to stake a hereditary claim on it, I guess.
Well, it would make me like the elf lord.
You know, good.
Little things like that.
Little things like that.
I mean, yeah, so that's like in my head, I could be the elf lord. I could steal this thing and sell it. There's so many things I could do with this thing.
I think it's terrific. Lamond, why do you want to drink this gnome-steeped spirit?
All right. So Lamond, as soon as they get into the Golden Onion, he makes for the bar, slaps his hand down. One of your finest gnome shots, barkeep. He chugs it back and then takes a deep breath and then walks quite briskly into a wall. So he was testing out. So the theory is that if you drink of this gnome spirit, then you'll be able to walk through earthen walls. But I think he didn't pay so much attention to like the details and just tried to walk through any old wall. So yeah, we don't know if it works, but that's what he's aiming for.
Good. That sounds like a good initial scene next week too. Fabulous. Let's go to the end of session questions. I don't have those handy. If anybody has them handy, you want to just start reading them off, that'd be great.
Did we overcome a notable monster or enemy?
Yes, the brothers 3. You guys can all mark an XP for that. Next question.
Did we loot a memorable treasure?
Yes, several things. You can all mark an XP for that.
And then did we learn something new and important about the world?
Yes. The old Queen Rianne situation is very interesting. And there are probably a few other things as well. So you can all mark an XP for that as well. And now the individual questions. How does this go? Or what's the next one, I guess?
No, individual questions, yeah, would then be our alignments.
Oh, the alignments, and then there's not, and then the flag. Yeah. Okay. So let's take a look at your alignment statements. All right. Lomond, shift danger or blame from yourself to someone else. Do you think you did that?
No, not really.
Yeah, Bronca, or not Bronca, Siobhan would have been great for that, for that one. Siobhan, eliminate an unnatural menace. Yes, mark an XP. Bronca, endanger yourself to protect someone weaker. Yes, you sure did. Mark an XP. Bowen, discover something about a magical mystery. Yes, I believe so. What do you think, Bowen?
I think so.
Yeah, make your case. Which magical mystery?
I think the mystery of the queen.
Yes.
Kind of figuring out what she's all about and what she was doing, and I have some input into how she might be affecting people.
Yes, I will take that. I also think that just like kind of generally, I think like since you guys like really went in deep on the whole old Queen Rianne thing, I think it kind of is in the same spirit of it. So you can mark an XP there. And the chaos, defeat a worthy opponent. Yes, mark an XP. Now let's take a look at the flags. If you believe you hit a flag, say so.
I think I hit 2. So I had Lomond examine an important object for me.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
And
Yeah, I
then-
remember you hitting them.
And then my other one was with Bowen, where I interrupted you speaking with someone no one else could see.
Nice. Okay, cool. Bronco, I'm marking XP for that. Did anyone else hit a flag?
Yeah, I got Akios to chat about her past
Mhm.
lives.
Mark an XP. Anyone else?
And I did get into a wild and unlikely scheme with Bowen.
Yes, that was a good one. Mark an XP. Any other flags?
I mean, I would argue that Bronco's put yourself in danger so I can risk myself. I did that.
Bronca.
Because Bronco had to save me from being choked out by the Minotaur.
Oh, that's right. Oh, okay. So it's Bronca's is written.
Yeah, I should, I guess, maybe rewrite this a little bit. I did want it to be like choosing to put yourself in danger, not just ending up in danger.
Okay.
So I guess that would be the only.
Well, but to be fair, like Bowen made a really like active decision to.
That's true. Bowen did try to hack and slash, which is a terrible idea. For
Right? Yeah.
Yes,
it was a very active. Yeah. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Cool.
Mark an XP. Good. Okay. Well, that's the end of session 1 of the Golden Onion. We'll do feedback next week. I want to kind of get into the actual adventure part a little bit, but or the main adventure part. But this was really fun. I had a great time. Does anybody have any thoughts or anything I need to know before we go? Splendid. Well, I look forward to seeing everyone next week. And yeah, these are very interesting characters, and I like the dynamic that is developing so far. You all have a kind of like sort of like over each other dynamic going on, which would be the case after spending so much time together. So I'm here for it. So I'll see you all next week. I'm gonna stop this.